Will be affecting the area. Your Kalispell forecast at 6.
Coming up next on the news at 6, the search for a man missing on Big Mountain over the weekend ends in tragedy. We'll have the details.
Plus, the future of Flathead High is once again up for debate before school trustees. These stories and more next on the news at 6.
You're watching KCFW 9, the news leader. This is the news at 6.
The body of a man missing on Big Mountain has been found. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Fettfly. 21-year-old Sam Vesti was last seen with co-workers at the Hell Roaring Bar and Restaurant late Saturday night. When he failed to show up for his shift on Sunday, his friends knew something was wrong. Lee Stoll spent the day on Big Mountain. She has details.
As telemark teams warmed up for another day of competition, another group of teams were forming with a very different mission.
We're going to comb the grounds and just look for any signs of Sam.
But within an hour of setting out, the worst was confirmed. The body of 21-year-old Sam Vesti, a ski instructor and employee at the Hell Roaring Restaurant, was found in a creek bed below Chair 1, just a few feet from the main parking lot.
It's sad that he was so close to the parking lot and so close to being out, but I think that I wouldn't expect anybody to have seen him.
Friends say the New Zealand native was walking down to catch a ride home when he probably fell into the snowdrift, either being knocked unconscious or passing out.
Well, we knew right away he was face down in the gutter.
Even though friends couldn't save him, the fact that over 40 people came out to help in the search shows just how much of an impact Vesti made in just the 3 months he lived here.
We are one big family up here on the mountain, and that's how we're going to have to treat this, is we lost one of our own, unfortunately.
So hopefully everybody can get together and try to deal with this and say goodbye to our friend, so that's about it.
On Big Mountain, I'm Lee Stoll reporting.
An autopsy, including toxicology tests, will be done on the body. Officials say the evidence will probably be accidental death. Flathead County Sheriff Jim DuPont says he has seen several cases where an individual runs into trouble after drinking and becoming disoriented. He says it is important to be even more alert with a friend who's intoxicated.
If you're with somebody that you can see is obviously getting very intoxicated, don't let them go by themselves. You know, stay with them, be with them, get them to stop drinking and get them to a safe place.
DuPont says that Vesti most likely passed away from hypothermia. Well, Joseph Aceto, the man convicted of 2 counts of attempted homicide and aggravated kidnapping, was sentenced today to life in prison without chance of parole. Aceto was arrested in May of 2000 after kidnapping his ex-girlfriend and leading police on a manhunt in Glacier National Park. At his sentencing today, Aceto told District Judge Ted Limpus that he's never going to change, and he asked the judge to, quote, give him what he's got. His sentence? The maximum, 210 years in prison, no chance of parole. Judge Limpus added that Aceto's violent history and at least 21 felony charges make him a danger to society.
Which begins with during the interview.
It means that nobody else has to worry about this man hurting them or bombing their airplane or their courthouse or killing them or shooting at them or kidnapping them. That he will be a ward of the state for the rest of his life.
Today, Aceto's lawyer, Mark Sullivan, filed a motion for a new trial, meaning that there is likely more to come in this case. Well, it's been more than a year since School District 5 considered 3 scenarios for the future of an overcrowded Flathead High School in Kalispell. But tonight, the discussions will continue. In January of 2000, school trustees rescinded their decision to move forward with building one new high school after the community spoke out against it. Instead, the results from a community survey showed the majority of citizens favor building a second, smaller high school for the area.
I think we have a better feel for what is realistic and what's non-realistic expectations as far as funding help from the state level. It's time to come back and discuss the scenarios.
Tonight's meeting is open to the public, and it will be held at the Kalispell Junior High School Library, getting underway at 7 p.m. Well, the new wastewater treatment system targeted for the headquarters of Glacier National Park is one step closer to reality today. That is thanks to a new record of decision issued by the National Park Service's Intermountain Director, Karen Wade. Wade's signature gives a go-ahead to an upgraded system affecting Apgar Village and park headquarters. 11 miles of the water system pipeline in that vicinity are more than 40 years old, and they're falling apart. The plan includes improving parts of the water system, building a hydroelectric generator that would reduce energy use in the park, and making changes to the spring water source. The new system will also expand a storage capacity and reduce annual operating costs by up to $60,000 a year. Construction on the water system is slated to begin next summer.
Just how much did January snowfall help the drought situation across Montana? We'll have the answers to that question just after the break. But first, stocks ended a volatile session to the downside, the NASDAQ dropping 17 points. Here's a look at some stocks of local interest.
It's the year's most exciting event.
That's right. After years of record-breaking prices, look at what Rosars is doing this Thursday.
Now, over the season, the Rosars team keeps beating the competition, thanks in part to their captain.
A closer look at Rosars' lineup showcases this Thursday's star performer.
It's an event of Olympic proportions.
So we hope you join us this Thursday when the action starts right at 7 a.m.
One special day when everyone wins.
I am strong. I am fearless. I am tough. I'm unstoppable. I am Ford Ranger. And I am Montana.
The power, the rhythm, the dance, and the music and song of Ireland's kingdom. This is The Spirit of Ireland. Starring world and all-Ireland dance champions, musicians and singers. Faster, harder, more dance action than ever. Breaking box office records throughout Ireland and Europe. Don't miss this powerful, dramatic, all-Irish production.
He's a bad breaker-upper.
Elaine's in an unhealthy relationship.
So what are you gonna do?
Dump him. I can't be with someone who doesn't break up nicely.
Dinner with his parents turns George's stomach.
Why can't we sit over there?
I didn't take the subway all the way to New York to sit at a table like that.
And Kramer's sick as a dog.
I'm gonna have a vet check us out. You gonna take dog medicine?
On the next.
Open it. Open it.
Seinfeld.
Weeknights at 6:30 on KCFW 9. Closed captioning is brought to you by Miracle Ear, Missoula, Hamilton, Kalispell, and Whitefish.
America is at war, and what role does Montana play? Well, yesterday we had a brief overview of the military history in the Treasure State, and today we go behind the gates of Malmstrom Air Force Base for a look at our current role in the war on terrorism.
We ready to go to work today?
Guard mount. The men and women charged with keeping 200 nuclear missiles safe and operating prepare for duty.
Ensure that we have proper nuclear security in accordance with 42.
They're part of the 10th Strategic Missile Command, one of 4 missile squadrons at Malmstrom Air Force Base. They patrol 9 counties, drive 4 to 6 million miles a year.
Let's talk weather. Last couple of days we've been driving on 87. They just turned into green last night.
They guard and keep more than a third of our nation's Minuteman III missiles on alert, ready to launch.
We never take things lightly. Every time we go out there and we post out in the field, it's a very serious matter, and we take it very seriously.
The Cold War may be over, and America may be reducing its nuclear arsenal, but Malmstrom's commander says the base's role in the current war is as important as ever.
We are allowed to deploy
forces like we have over in Afghanistan and around the world, because we are sitting here on what's called strategic deterrence alert, protecting the backside of those people that have deployed overseas.
When the U.S. is at war, we're at war. So just because we're 100 feet underground in the middle of Montana doesn't mean that, we're, eating candy bars and putting our feet up.
Lieutenant Menke trains the officers responsible for launching the missiles should the president ever give the order.
Got Sierra 33 reporting 301, 302.
200 missiles, all controlled at consoles like this with the turn of a key. But it's not as easy as you may think.
Step 1, launch key inserted.
A command to launch starts with the president, then the Joint Chief of Staff, U.S. Strategic Command, and finally, the missile launch site. Launch sites are in groups of 5. Any can cancel a launch. 2 separate launch sites, each with 2 officers, must verify the command codes and initiate the launch.
We have never launched one of these things, and we tend to believe, and I think it's true, that the mission of these ICBMs is the fact that they're on alert and launchable at the direction of the President of the United States, and that in itself is the deterrent.
A deterrent that keeps Montana a key player in our military's effort to keep America safe. At Malmstrom Air Force Base, Wade Muehlhoff reporting.
Well, here's a look at some of the stories that we'll be working on for you tonight on our News at 10. Both sides of the Bitterroot timber debate are in long meetings today, and we'll look into those discussions. Plus, preparations are underway for the Bar-Jonah trial, and a daily dose of fruits and vegetables may be the key to controlling blood sugar. Those stories and much more tonight on the News at 10. Well, new numbers released this week say that Montana's mountain snowpack is 90% of average and 161% of last year. But while the numbers sound encouraging, they don't mean an end to Montana's 3-year drought. Despite some of the heaviest snow we've seen in a few years, the soil, the streams, and the stream banks across significant portions of the state are very dry. And that means when the spring runoff begins, what water there is in the high country will soak into the ground first before any flows downstream.
We're in a continuous drought until we have the April and May numbers in place. We see how things are shaping up, and then there will be a review made to see if we're still in a continuous drought. If we are, which areas we are, which areas have recovered, and those types of things.
Kaiser says that we'll know more about the stream flow forecasts after April 1st, the end of the traditional snowfall season. The sunny conditions of the past few days may be the last we see for the remainder of this week anyway. Mark Haka and the entire storm team is up next with the forecast for our latest Northwest Montana weather outlook. But first, let's take a look at today's area road reports. Kalispell to Coram is mostly dry with some scattered ice. Coram to Essex, wet with black ice, and Essex to East Glacier is snowpack and icy. Meanwhile, US 2 west, Idaho line to Troy is dry with wet areas, and Troy on into Kalispell is mostly dry.
Tonight's road report was brought to you by Able Body.
This is your appetite talking, and this is a tasty alert. You're not gonna believe this, baby.
Right now, 5 Arby's roast beefs are just $5.95.
All that slow roasted beef. So tender, so juicy. And those sauces. That's what you want, baby.
Get 5 Arby's regular roast beef sandwiches for just $5.95, but not for long.
If you want the tasty, you gotta be hasty. Give in to your grown-up taste.
Look for the sign, you're in Les Schwab country.
Celebrating 50 years.
Funny thing, tires change, stores change, people don't. What made sense to us then still makes sense today. Sell the best tire possible for the dollar spent and back it with service.
Les said it then, he still says it today. It's why we provide value, quality, selection, and service. At Les Schwab, we appreciate your business.
It's time you expected more from an insurance company. So call Progressive Auto Insurance, and we can give you our low price, plus the rates for up to 3 leading competitors. And that could save you hundreds.
We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
It's time you expected an easier way to buy car insurance. Because at Progressive.com, you can get a quote and buy a policy instantly. In fact, our website is so fast and easy to use, it's been rated #1 4 times in a row. It's time you expected faster claim service. At Progressive, our immediate response vehicles can come right to you. They're like a claims office on wheels.
We make getting back on the road fast and easy.
Visit Progressive.com or call Progressive today. For fast, friendly service 24 hours a day. We want you to save money, even if it's not with us.
Okay, maybe we're not changing the world, but we are changing the way people buy car insurance.
You can start saving now. Call Progressive today or visit Progressive.com. Progressive, not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Personal Touch Home Care. Home is where I want to be.
Good Tuesday, Northwest Montana. Another nice day across the area. Some changes coming up in our weather pattern, and the transition is beginning tonight into tomorrow, and with that transition coming some high winds, a high wind warning for the Rocky Mountain front tonight. This includes the east side of Glacier Park. Those downslope warming winds keeping things quite mild east of the divide, where it's 50 at Havre, 47 at Cutbank. We are at 32 here in Kalispell. Very little in the way of wind, a falling barometer, and a relative humidity of 64%. The high 35, the low 12 above, and these temperatures are a few degrees from about where we ought to be this time of the year. High temperatures from our weather observers, including 39 at Rexford, 35 at Whitefish, and 37 degrees at Columbia Falls. Around the nation, temperatures moderating across the Midwest, still quite cold in Caribou, Maine, with 10 degrees there. That's where the Arctic air is in full command. But our attention, of course, is focused to the southern United States, the subtropical jet coming up through Mexico, bringing in abundant moisture and quite a large area of precipitation. We have snow as far south as Dallas up into Oklahoma City and Wichita, eastward to about Little Rock, and then a large area of rain from Houston on to Shreveport and into places like Jackson, as well as Montgomery. So a very soggy south. In our area, the clouds going up and over a ridge, but that ridge is going to flatten out eventually, and we'll get more of an onslaught, a direct flow from the Pacific. And right now we do have some increasing clouds just across the border in Idaho, and we will have increasing cloudiness tonight and even a little light snow in the forecast. These are false echoes right here. We have mostly clear skies right now over west central Montana. We do have, though, a mixture of some very light rain and snow developing in eastern Washington, and we're going to be looking at a chance of precipitation tonight. Several waves are going to come in, break down the ridge. One wave coming in tonight and early tomorrow, bringing very little in the way of valley precipitation, but some mountain snow, even an inch or two possible here in the next 24 hours in the mountains. Windy conditions east of the divide. Tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy. Another wave begins entering the Pacific Northwest. That one will be stronger, and we'll have a better chance of some light snow even in the valleys by late tomorrow night and Thursday. Our forecast, partly cloudy to cloudy, mountain snow developing, maybe 1 to 2 inches in some of the higher elevations, but only a slight chance in the valleys. Lows of 19 at Kalispell, 5 below Celsius in Cranbrook. Partly cloudy to cloudy tomorrow, highs of 35 at Kalispell, 38 at Polson. This ridge of high pressure, as I said, will be breaking down. Here's the current situation. And by the week's end, that's on Friday, we'll have more of a direct flow from the Pacific, and that means more heavy mountain snow coming up later in the week, and also windy conditions, and also valley snow is quite possible as well. There it is, an increasing chance of snow late Thursday and especially Friday and over the weekend and into Monday. High temperatures in the 30s, although falling to the low 30s early next week. Low temperatures pretty much upper teens to mid-20s throughout the forecast period. So just a little bit of light snow in the mountains tonight, but a much better chance coming up later in the week. Have a good one.
Thank you, Mark, and it is time once again. We always like to do it this time. If you watched last night, you know we're going to give away an Olympic pin. The phone number is on your screen. Be caller number 9. We will give you an official Olympic pin from NBC, and that's where we're giving away, where sports is next. Stay tuned.
Watch the ultimate sporting competition in the world, the Olympics, right here on KCFW 9.
We've got a really cool business called Westpaw Design, and what we do is we manufacture fabric, dog, and cat products. State Fund has really come in and helped us. They actually sent a work specialist here to evaluate what we do and what each different station does. They highly recommended we get into a stretching routine. Every hour we take a minute to stretch. We have a little fun with it by playing music, and the employees have loved it. Montana State Fund has given us suggestions that we could implement, and we've chosen to do that. We're working together.
You sure this is gonna work? We do this all the time. Come on, let's go. I got him. Oh, it's cold. Freezing. Good. Here, have another one. You're gonna need it. I'm getting hot.
Eat a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich seasoned with our own blend of pepper and spices, and you get a spicy hit that makes you feel warm all over. Perfect for that low-budget winter vacation.
Some luck?
Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. When you're hot, you're hot. Remember, Wendy's pickup windows open till midnight, so you can eat great even late.
When my first son was born, I was taking him to the doctor all the time for ear infections. And then we heard about chiropractic, so when my second child was born, I took her in to have her adjusted when she had an ear infection, and she's never had any problems since.
For 10 years, I have suffered from numbness and pain in my left arm. And after seeing my doctor of chiropractic, I am now able to pursue my fiddling career.
If you don't talk to a doctor of chiropractic, you may miss your best chance to get better.
Tonight's sports segment is brought to you by Flathead Valley Chiropractic Association.
We're more than halfway home. Each team in the Big Sky has already played each other once. Now it's time to do it again. And for MSU, their 7-1 record is good enough for tops in the conference. All that a conference regular season championship means, though, is a #1 seeding in that conference tournament. And that #1 seeding can give your team the easy road to the big dance. And for the Bobcats, everything is coming up roses.
Well, if you have to pick, yeah, I mean, we don't want to give anything back. We're enjoying where we're at. We got a great opportunity in front of us. We're at home. The fans have been great. So, yeah, we need to handle where we're at and play well this weekend. Last time we played them, they had a half a day to prepare for us. This time they have a whole week to prepare for us. Veteran point guard who runs the show for them. They have a veteran kid, Humbert, inside, who didn't play against us last time. And they've got some very athletic players on the wings, and then they bring in some young kids that are going to be good. So, they're very talented. They go about 9-10 deep, so he can throw a bunch of kids out.
All right, the Bobcats are currently 2 full games in front of second place Weber State. They finish a 3-game homestand this weekend with Eastern Washington and Portland State Friday and Saturday nights. Well, last week's Cats-Grizz game was a good one, at least for you MSU fans. The high school ranks had even better games. Yesterday, I briefly mentioned a few of those, and if you add both Whitefish's games to that list, the Bulldogs won by 2 on Friday night in Columbia Falls, and then went to overtime against Corvallis on Saturday night. With those close games, the Bulldogs are now ready for this Friday night. That's because their opponent is the Big Fork Vikings, a team that made a habit of making their games close in the fourth quarter.
Well, Mike, we're coming into the last weekend of the season, and we've had a number of close ball games this year, as has Big Fork. And last weekend's ball games definitely should get us more tournament tested. Both games went to the very, very end, and of course the Corvallis game went to overtime. And so those games should help us again this weekend against Big Fork and Ronan.
The first time we played Big Fork, we played good solid first half, and then in the second half we kind of fell apart. So we're going to try to hold it together for a whole game and see what we can do.
Oh, yeah. All right, Big Fork used a 20-3 run in the fourth quarter to take the Bulldogs in Big Fork. But this Friday night, this game is in Whitefish, and it is for first place, so we should have another good one on our hands. So also, while their basketball team is getting ready for that Big Fork game, the Bulldog wrestlers are getting primed for the biggest tournament of the year, States. And the state meets begin on Friday, and the Bulldogs may be as ready as they have ever been. Before the season started, many people wrote off the Dogs, but now they're bringing 11 out of 12 wrestlers to town this weekend, and that means Whitefish has a good chance to become state champs.
Yeah, well, you're gonna score points out the state tournament by how many numbers you take. The teams that bring the most kids get the biggest chance of scoring points down the Billings. It's going to be important to have those numbers down there.
It's a big boost, lots of momentum coming in. Everybody's excited. It makes it more of a big team effort, all coming together, rooting each other on.
All right, States does begin on Friday for both single A and double A in Billings. And also, we've got an Olympic winner for the pin. Just wanted to kind of
We do indeed. It is Mark Watkins, and Mark, we'll get that in the mail to you right away, and we'll have another contest tomorrow night. Back in a moment, we'll meet up with the Critter Man. Stay tuned.
The power, the rhythm, the dance, and the music and song of Ireland's kingdom. This is The Spirit of Ireland. Starring world and all-Ireland dance champions, musicians and singers. Faster, harder, more dance action than ever. Breaking box office records throughout Ireland and Europe. Don't miss this powerful, dramatic, all-Irish production.
Changing your oil frequently is the most important thing you can do to maintain your vehicle. At 10-Minute Quick Lube, no appointments are necessary, and all brands of oil are available. We change your oil, not your schedule. Certified lube technicians check your belts, hoses, PCV, air filter, and refill your window washer free. Drive it to the professionals at the original 10-Minute Quick Lube, junction of Highway 2 and 35, next to Snappy's.
We change your oil, not your schedule.
This is where I work. There is never a dull moment at Walmart.
It's more than a store. It's a fun place to visit.
Might be a school car wash, maybe a kid selling cookies for a good cause.
Shopping's not bad either.
Possibly be a bingo game. Yeah, we had a marching band in here the other day. It was real fun.
We come here to socialize.
I may as well work here because if not, I'd be hanging around here anyways.
You never know what you're going to find at Walmart.
They just come in for the fun of it.
It's like my morning routine. Drink coffee and wake up at Walmart.
Well, did you get it? Just picked it up. It's set up in the den. Boys, feast your eyes on the future.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, it's got 3 cheeses, a grilled tortilla case, all standard, and then went for the upgrade.
Wow, steak. Oh, the S-Class.
Marinated carne asada steak, 3 melted cheeses. Upgrade to steak with Taco Bell's new steak quesadilla. And think outside the bun.
Snow Ecology 101. Now, this is a snow layer I'm going to tell you about in a minute, but if you come right down here, when the snow starts falling down to here, those crystals, as you probably know, are shaped kind of like that. 6-sided, and they're kind of sharp and pointy at the ends, and then about just hours later, they don't look like that anymore. They start melting on the ends, and vapor starts going together. That's when you build a snow hut. Pretty soon you can stand on top of it after you hollowed it out, because this stuff starts welding itself together, and it gets into kind of a shape like that, kind of round and kind of grainy. Well, that is as the snow is settling down, the grainier and rounder it gets. Over here, you can see the top levels would have the sharp snow. Right in here, probably grainy stuff. And then the cool place, way down at the bottom here, if you scrape it away, you can see big, long crystals, and the heat of the earth is melting it out down below. Perfect place for critters and plants to spend the winter. Now, that's also the perfect place on a steep slope for it to release, and we're talking avalanche.
And that'll wrap things up for us this evening. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Good night.